By the way, Ferrari, Mercedes has. I tweeted it as well. Mercedes has won a race before Ferrari this season. Wait. It's not done. Wait. Come back. Let me complete the sentence. Kimi Antonelli has a podium before Lewis Hamilton.
Oh my god! Like,
These are two statements I would not have
oh
made
my
this season.
god!
And in a preview that we do.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just
whoa.
it's entirely down to Ferrari, by the way,
sprint
not
race
on
win.
Lewis. I mean, Lewis. I trust Lewis when he says that
doesn't
sprints
count.
don't matter. So now the next one, the more interesting one, the Ferrari saga. Well, a lot of things happened, by the way. Let's start with how the weekend began. By the way, throughout the weekend, Ferrari was shit, utter
Yep.
shit, dog shit.
Yep.
And even though I had a lot of hopes for it when I saw Leclerc, he was kind of mingling with Lando.
Called
But then
it,
you
by the
saw
way.
the last. Sorry?
Called it, by the way.
Yeah, we did. We kind of said cooler conditions.
We just said Canada. It's going to go shit because they did decently at
Yeah.
Monaco, so has to
Exactly.
fall apart here.
Someday.
Yeah.
And very soon. The problem was that as soon as the last stint came for Leclerc, the gap went from 12 seconds to 22 seconds, and like, what the fuck happened here? Apparently, he didn't have the pace. He was struggling with brake issues and everything. Because
Yeah.
why not? It's Ferrari. Yeah. Now to the more spicy bits. So on Thursday, multiple Italian publications, they came out and they said that, well, they said basically three things. The first was that the Ferrari senior management, which is basically John Elkann and Benedetto Vigna, both of them were starting to lose confidence in Fred Vasseur, and apparently he'd been given a 3-race notice or 3-race deadline where unless they see improvements, they'll have him replaced or he'll be done. His contract ends at the end of 2025, by the way. So that was something even I had forgotten. That's one thing. The second thing was Charles Leclerc
bring back
is losing
Mattiacci.
confidence. Oh, he was awesome. If you remember he had those black goggles, sunglasses
Yeah.
every time when he was there. The second thing was Charles Leclerc is losing confidence. He's not sure that Ferrari would have the power unit which is good enough for 2026. And
It
if
doesn't
that is
matter.
the case,
they could have the best power unit. They're still not winning a championship. Leclerc, my friend,
Yeah.
come on, buddy.
Yeah, 7 years, buddy. There's a point when you know you need to rip the cord. I think he's finally getting around it. Maybe, I don't know. The third thing was Lewis is also saying that he's not being listened to, and like that's what happens at Ferrari, Lewis. You're not the only one. So these three reports came, and again, as usual, Ferrari denied. Lewis backed Fred Vasseur, Charles backed Fred Vasseur. They also said that the reports are rubbish.
And then Fred said something
Fred
incredibly
also-
interesting.
Yeah, Fred came out, and I think the very long and short of it is he said that, first of all, the media is. He kind of started pointing the fingers at media, but there was one very interesting quote he had that he said, in the last 20 years, almost everything has changed, be it the tires, be it the car, be it the engine, and be it the drivers or the team principals. There's only one thing that's remained constant. And now you can take it in two different directions. First is the Italian media. The second is
The
Well-
board.
exactly. And a lot of people actually questioned, and yeah, a lot of Ferrari fan accounts, which is the brake boosted account, and there's one more. So they had this whole hashtag Vigna out, hashtag Elkann out. They trended it. But there's a reality to the entire situation where while these accounts they started blaming the media for being too negative and being too harsh on the team, I think they have every right to be. And once they are reporting something, and once there are 3 different publications, by the way, the race also corroborated the same thing. Once you have 3 different publications that are actually coming out and saying something on these lines, it's not out of the blue.
Yeah.
It's something that is going on,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of truth to this. You can close your eyes, be an ostrich, put your head in the sand. It's not going to change the reality that the situation and the future is pretty dire when it comes to Ferrari.
The other thing is, let's be honest here, if the media is able to ruin your on-track performance, you've probably got a pretty shitty team anyway.
Which they
like,
do, by the way.
Yeah, like look at Red Bull. Like Horner came under incredible scrutiny last year, and what happened at Milton Keynes? Team got stronger, came back and said, "Fuck you, we'll build a better. Like we'll fix this car," and Max won the championship. If that was Ferrari, like that team would have just fallen to
That
pieces.
is done. Yeah.
So, like, the problem is basically that once again we're just seeing a situation where board running F1 teams just doesn't work. So, Red Bull fans, if you want Horner gone, good fucking luck. Boards just can't run teams in F1. They never have. And like, I think Toyota is a great example of this because Toyota had everything else going for them in terms of cash, like facilities, everything. Board ran the team. They didn't do anything. Nothing. Like it was
Renault.
Renault, perfect example. So like
In breaking news, by the way, Luca Di Maio has resigned.
oh wow. Oh Jesus Christ. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that seals the future of Alpine as well.
Horner to Alpine. Yeah, so I just don't know, like even if we look at Ferrari in history, like I pointed out, it's like the last time Ferrari won was when Jean Todt was running the team. Someone pointed out, well, Stefano Domenicali, because it was 2008. But let's be honest here, like Stefano Domenicali just came in. Like it was still the leftovers of the Jean Todt team in reality. Like
It's like saying Toto Wolff won those 8 championships. It's basically Ross Brown.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
of course, yeah. But no, like that's the whole point. It's like, you know, if yeah, I don't know. It just
What was your takeaway from Fred Vasseur's reaction? Because I think that was probably an interesting bit.
I think genuinely Fred said something years ago when he left Renault, and he kind of
Something similar, yeah.
he basically said, "Look, I don't want the board to be running the team the whole time." Not in those exact words, but
Politics.
basically, like, I don't
Basically
want to
said
be in
politics
politics.
became a bit too much.
I think Fred probably came into Ferrari and said, "Look, I don't want politics to be part of this." I'm sure he put his foot down on that to an extent, and they're basically now giving him the middle finger in the press and everywhere else. And I think he's probably him saying that is him basically saying, right, if you're gonna something's going on, but it's also probably a little bit of a hint to the board of, oh, by the way, if you do start doing this, like I'm not going to be quiet about it. Like I will just blatantly tell the public, like you did this. This is your fault. You know. So I think it's probably a bit of a you can start saying things, but I'll start talking. You know, like and the drivers talking as well is probably another thing of them going, right, Fred, we'll start talking with you, you know. So it's not going to be good for Ferrari, and hopefully that makes the board back off a little bit, because the only way that Ferrari is going to win is if the board give complete and utter control to the team principal to run the team.
And give him time.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is they need to give him time. The problem that happens with Ferrari is, look, it's not instant noodles that, okay, now we've put you in place.
When did John Todt and Ross Brawn take over Ferrari? 95, right? 94.
No. Jean Todt came in 1991 or 1992.
Ross Brawn went in 96, right? And Michael went with him.
Ross Brawn went in 1997.
Oh, did Ross Brawn leave? Oh, because he stuck around for the 96 season in Benetton.
So what happened is after the death of Enzo Ferrari in 1989, Luca Di Montezemolo finally came over. First, I think he was handling, I don't remember which bit he was handling. Then he came over to the Ferrari. From 1990 and 1991 or 1992, they brought on Jean Todt.
Yeah.
First, Jean Todt was working with John Bernard. A legendary designer.
Came up with the semi-automatic gearbox.
Yes. Yeah. And in I think it was, by the way, they had a long, you can say a long-term plan in place, because Ferrari in 1990 was in shambles. Even when it comes to the infrastructure as well, they did not invest as much as they should have. So the first few years, what Jean Todt did, again, this is a very, you can say a brief crash course on how Ferrari became Ferrari. Yeah. So 1991 or 1992, it was when Jean Alesi and Gerhard Berger, they came to the team, and they started the rebuilding process.
With Jean Todt,
Yes, with Jean Todt. Jean Todt was overseeing it. In 1996, what happened is, when Michael Schumacher joined the team, initially, but his condition was he wanted a few people in place and he wanted a few things the way he would like Ferrari to be. in 1996, it was basically Michael Schumacher who just made up his mind and just said that John John Bernard should not be there.
Yeah.
So John Bernard was replaced, and then came the. Then ultimately Michael convinced Ross Brawn,
To
Rory
bring,
Byrne,
to bring the kind of
brought them on
Benetton
board.
technical dream team over Rory Byrne,
Yeah,
Ross Brawn,
and they
etc.,
came
yeah.
in 1990, late 1996 or 97.
Yeah.
From there, they started winning in. They should have won in 99 when Michael injured his legs. From
They won the
2000
constructors in '99, right?
Yeah, they won the
Yeah.
constructors.
So,
They won the constructors.
but
in
you're still
99 and
talking
then
like, so John Todd took over. That whole thing kicked off
92,
92.
yeah.
So you're talking 7 or 8 years.
7,
they
8,
gave it.
8 years. Yeah.
So, and like, if we look at every single team, like this happens. It takes time, you know. Like
McLaren
even
right now.
like Toto took over, right? Came in and took over, but like Ross Brawn had been doing some work in building that. The team had been building for a while, and it was a nice kind of handover. It wasn't like a chaotic handing over.
It was a Ross Brawn team.
Mm-hmm.
Ross Brawn took the team to the verge of world dominance, and he was basically removed because the German brand wanted an Austrian face. It's as simple as
Strange
that.
that the Germans want another Austrian in charge, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it has worked out well, by the way. So
When an Austrian takes over a German team, they usually do quite well for a
miracles
while.
happen.
But then it falls off quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
When the British come in and beat them.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway.
I had a comeback in place. I did not want to go there.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, coming back to
moving
it.
on. It's going to take a while.
So the thing is, it's not only that. It's just that this is his first opportunity. This is his first misstep from Fred Vasseur.
Yeah.
Until now, he built the thing steadily. I personally am not a huge fan in the way he's gone about things this season, because he's been pretty much, what should we say, avoiding the reality.
Mm-hmm.
The car sucks, that's the reality, but he's not willing to admit that in front of the media.
Yeah.
And that has not helped anyone, and I think that's his biggest problem for now. And even it was this weekend as well. His post-race interview, you see, and it's again the same thing. We had the fastest first sector, whatever. You're not, if you saw the race and if you're still coming back and saying that you had a good car, you're fooling
Even
only yourself.
Leclerc
at
on
this
the
stage.
strategy as well. Just like...
I was fine with the strategy because
I was
thought,
too, but it was the communication with Leclerc that I'm like, guys,
That's
why
fine,
are you
yeah.
still doing this shit? Like, Leclerc says, I think plan C. They kind of go, okay.
Yep.
And then he comes in and they're like, oh, by the way, we just put you on different tires. Like, when...
No, he was supposed to stay out because that was
Yeah,
plan C.
but he came in and they put him on the hard and he immediately realized, like, okay, what are we doing here? Like, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it just... I don't know. It just... The whole thing is insane. It just doesn't... Yeah.
It's not fun for any... Okay, just to
I
put
kind of
one thing
I
out
called
there,
this last season, like we were on the podcast.
everyone did, right?
No, but I remember last season I called this as like, this is going to be a problem now as soon as they hired Hamilton, and it wasn't a dig at Hamilton at the time. I remember saying to you, this is the first inkling of the board overriding Vasseur, and Vasseur doesn't seem happy about this, and it's
Okay, interesting
you know.
revelation, by the way, which maybe will shock a lot of people. In 2020, mid 2022, yeah, John Elkann went to meet a certain team principal.
Horner, yeah,
Yeah,
and Horner was the
And-
one who said you should hire Vasseur.
exactly.
Yep.
That was this weekend was the first time I actually finally found out that this was something that happened. That's weird. That's very, very weird that he was the one who kind of recommended a name and they went with it.
And if
Interesting that-
they're interested in getting Horner now, this is not exactly a good way to do it, is it?
They want the person who is currently handling the VEC series. Again, they won.
Yeah.
They won Le Mans again. F1 is is not the
It's not going to
same.
work. It's just not
Yeah.
like the only thing to do, the only obvious thing to do, is go look. For a couple of seasons, it was fine. There's been a misstep in the car, and at the end of the day, one of the things they did say this weekend, I can't remember who said it, but the biggest thing was McLaren did take a bigger step than expected. Ferrari fucked up their car as well, to be fair. You know, like all of these things are true. The big thing here is to double down and say, right, Fred, what do we need to give you for next year? Like, lead us there. Because at the end of the day, this is the worst time possible to change your team principal. This is the worst time possible. The best thing you can do right now is go, right, Fred, okay, it looks like we're fucked now. What can we do to fix this for 2026? Let's
Pretty much.
That's the only option. And it's the same as if you said to me, like, oh, it looks like next year is going to be bad for Red Bull. Like, should they get rid of Horner now? It's like, no, because what you're going to do is compound the issues that you're having. So there's issues now. If you get rid of Horner, you're not only taking those issues, you're also going, oh, by the way, let's bring in someone who has no fucking clue how to fix these issues. Great. Brilliant.
There's no one I know who'd be very, very, like, would be up for something like this. If Fred Vasseur is removed after, finishing third, second, and probably finishing second again, you're seriously, like, are you kidding me right now? If being the second best team is not enough for you, you're pushing yourself into a scenario. Look, I think Ferrari is, just a peek into the future. I think Ferrari is heading into the same direction that Alpine has gone.
Yep.
Post 2022.
Well, Alpine are the French Ferrari, so at tracks.
I mean, there was, but again, French tend to be worse in these cases. So it's what happened with Alpine. Just again, a quick refresher. 2022, they were fourth in the championship, and in 2023, they hoped that they'll make the next step and be closer to the top three. That didn't happen. They had a misstep. And as soon as that happened, all hell broke loose. They got rid of Otmar, and then they had a lot of, you can say, chaos in the background. Engineers started leaving because, again, they lost trust, they lost confidence. The driver went. Now, what is the scenario that they have? They're basically lost in the championship.
Yep.
And it began in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Ferrari, again, this is a prediction from my side. I think there's a decent possibility of this happening. By mid 2022, we'll probably 2026 will be in a scenario where Ferrari would be without Charles Leclerc for 2027, without Fred Vasseur, and there's a high likelihood that Lewis would also not be there.
Yeah. I mean, if 26 goes badly, why is he sticking around? You know,
he could stick around in one scenario where he thinks that he can then be the de facto leader and just
build the team around
forward.
him.
Yeah, that is one scenario.
Sure.
But again, I think Lewis
he's never done that in
quite
his entire career, though. So,
I mean, about time then. So,
Lewis shows up when the car is ready to rock. That's
yeah.
And when the car starts going badly, he leaves.
Yeah,
that's. Yeah, I don't.
By the again, coming to Lewis now, because he said quite a few interesting things this weekend. The first was, there are so many things that I want to tell you guys, but I cannot.
He said
which is a funny way of actually
has
saying
he written
they are
that
not
book
letting
yet,
me
by
tell
the
you.
way?
Which book?
Remember years ago he said he was going to write a book about what happened in 2007.
Oh,
yeah. He still hasn't.
Yeah.
A short view back to the past. Lewis, you said you're going to drive or write a book.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, what's crazy to me is things are going badly when Leclerc literally just is almost blatantly saying, like, I'm done. Like, I'm sick of this. Like, fix it in 2026 or I'm out of here, basically.
Yeah,
that's
pretty much.
Like, I mean, he hasn't said it in those exact words, which is expected, but it's as close as we've seen to Leclerc kind of going, yeah, I've had enough, If you're Sainz looking at this, thinking to yourself, I actually might be in the better team for 2026, you must be thinking, like, this is insane. Like, how do you do
how did
this?
that happen? I mean, how can you go? And again, he said something on the similar lines. He said that when I left, I was almost certain that Charles is going to fight for the championship this season. That is his statement.
Yeah.
And he said, I have zero input in the 2025 car. I was kept in the out, pretty much
Maybe
on
that's
the out
the
and
problem.
out.
Maybe Carlos was designing the cars.
Probably. Yeah. again, just coming back to the Lewis thing, because I think he's doing something
Hope he's
that,
enjoying
again,
this
credit
serious
to
team.
him. Again, by the way, a lot of Lewis Hamilton fans, which are probably belong to the cult,
They're not
they've
watching,
started
it's
the whole
fine.
thing. No, they've started the whole thing where they said that Ferrari pitted Lewis into traffic because they wanted Leclerc to leapfrog him. So it has already begun after 10 races. It's going to be fun while it actually lasts. That thing is going to be fun. Regardless, what Lewis is saying is actually the right thing, in my view, because at least someone needs to speak up.
Yeah.
He's pretty much said that a lot of things need
Oh,
to change at Ferrari.
the one good thing about Lewis being there right now,
He's vocal. He cannot keep his mouth shut.
No, but the thing is, like, the only driver on the grid who could realistically have the confidence and backing to kind of talk shit about Ferrari happens to be driving for Ferrari. So, like, they couldn't keep Vettel's mouth shut. They're not going to keep Lewis's, because Lewis is like, he's as soon as he gets pissed
He's
off.
realizing this, isn't it? He's realizing
Why did
how
he
much
not
work
realize
needs to be
this?
done.
Like, him and Vettel were friendly. He saw what happened with Vettel. He saw what happened to Vettel after the cheating thing, when Vettel basically said the team cheated. That's what happened. Like, he didn't say those
2019,
exact words, but he basically said, he more or less exactly said the team cheated and got caught. Like,
Yeah.
Hamilton saw all this. Like, if we as fans are watching this and last year said, like, serious team, like, are you joking? Like, we know exactly how this is going to go. And it's going exactly how we expected it to go. Like,
Honestly,
how does Lewis not see this? Or did Lewis see this and go, well, I mean, it doesn't look like Mercedes are going to win the championship next year. I can get a couple £100 million for a couple of years, and I might get lucky. Fuck it, let's see. If that was his attitude behind the scenes, and obviously he wasn't going to say that, if that was genuinely his attitude, then bravo. Like, fair enough. But if
I doubt it was.
If he actually thought this was a team he was coming out to win an 8th championship, then I really want to know what drugs he was taking and where I can get them.
I think he's starting to find the reality, which honestly, I think he should have realized in 2017 and 2018 how Ferrari does things. I think he just thought that it was maybe a lack of leadership and he just won because he was better and everything. I think a lot of it comes down to the team as well, and he's realizing where the team is.
Yeah.
And he was very honest about these things, that look, a lot of things need to be done. And he was questioned when are the upgrades coming? And he said upgrades should have come by now. The fact that they aren't, they don't. And then he said they don't tell me. But what the fuck is? Why are they not telling you?
How do you look at Ferrari, right, in those days when he was driving against them, and think that is a team that has managed to stress out Vettel and Raikkonen, two of the most chilled human beings in the world, right? I know Vettel was like quite aggressive in the car, during his Red Bull time. But Vettel out of the car has always been one of the most relaxed people. That's why I love, he was just willing to banter, so relaxed. Raikkonen is literally was called the Iceman. And there was points where you saw the two of them screaming at the team. Like, how would you look at that and going, how would you look at that and think to yourself, seems like that team has a place where I can, what are you doing? Like, why would you go there? But
I mean, it's basically, it's someone looking at a complete junkie and saying, I can fix this.
Yeah.
And then you realize nothing can fix it.
Yeah.
And then you just take your money and go home.
Yeah. Maybe Lewis likes bad boys. That's what you're saying, basically.
A version of it.
Yeah. Right? Not the movie bad. I mean, anyway.
Yeah, he probably likes the movie bad. What were you talking about?
I meant how women like bad boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I wasn't trying to go too deep into that. Into that lane. Yeah. Again, throughout the weekend, I think, by the way, Lewis had a decent weekend this time around. Mm-hmm. He was,
apart from killing a groundhog. Maybe he thought if he killed the groundhog, it'd be like Groundhog Day and he'd be back in Mercedes.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he thought. He was hoping he'd wake up on Monday morning and be like, Toto, I'm back.
Yeah.
I had the worst nightmare. I was driving for Ferrari.
And Toto goes, Lewis, I have a news. I'd like you to meet Kimi.
Lewis,
He'd be driving
I
your
have
car.
brought a younger, faster driver to the team, and he's costing me way less than you. Get out. Get to the chopper and fuck off to Ferrari.
Oh God, yeah. By the way, Ferrari, Mercedes has. I tweeted it as well. Mercedes has won a race before Ferrari this season. Wait. It's not done. Wait. Come back. Let me complete the sentence. Kimi Antonelli has a podium before Lewis Hamilton.
Oh my god. Like,
These are two statements I would not have
oh
made
my
this season.
God.
In a preview that we do.
yeah.
It's
Well,
just,
whoa.
It's entirely down
Sprint-
to Ferrari, by the way,
sprint
not
race
on
win.
Lewis. I mean, Lewis, I trust Lewis when he says that
doesn't
sprints
count.
don't matter.
It's a hard one.
Oh,
it's a
God.
hard one for Hamilton fans to back up, isn't it? When literally their driver is going like, I don't give a shit about sprint races. Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. Anyways, moving on to Red Bull.
Can I just say one thing as well? It's really annoying because look, as much as I like to banter and wind people up, I was actually looking forward to like Hamilton at Ferrari, a bit of like, because I love Ferrari and I do love Hamilton as much as I like to wind their fans up and stuff. He has been brilliant to watch over the years. I got sick of the dominance like everyone else did, which is why I like to banter about it and bash people about it. But I really was looking forward to Leclerc and Hamilton fighting the McLarens, Max in the mix. It's kind of as much as it's funny from I kind of expected
told you
this.
so.
Yeah. I also was kind of hoping to be proven wrong. And
I mean, honestly, it's just
this is I think you're with me, and I think both of us would have been happy if we were proven wrong this year.
I predicted Charles Leclerc to win the championship.
Yeah.
That was my
I
prediction.
would have been
and
happy to be proven wrong in this situation.
yeah. I'm just sad for Leclerc. Look, Lewis had, and this weekend there was something that David Evalsaki said. He pretty much said point blank to Nico Hülkenberg on his face. He said that I think it's a crying shame that this driver has not got a podium in his entire career.
Yeah.
He said it to his face, and Hülkenberg was like, yeah, thanks.
And
It was basically after the race, and it's just Lewis had his time. He's had his great cars, everything perfect.
Yeah.
Max has had that. He will probably have it again in the future. I really hope drivers, at least for some, I hope Leclerc gets a title contending car at least once in his career. George gets it at least once. I hope Hülkenberg gets a podium contending car at least for one race. I mean, that's not if it's not too much to ask.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
But
though,
yeah.
as my T-shirt illustrates, this is what happened. The green one is where is it? There. So the green
There are
one is
multiple green
the
ones.
green one is Ferrari, and this is reality represented by the yellow one.
Okay.
So this is generally what happens when reality meets Ferrari.
Pretty much. I mean, yeah.
I wonder
interesting.
how many
I
people
think,
noticed what the gummy bears were doing.
yeah, making love.
Sure, we can call
Bear
it
style.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.